Hi! Welcome to my research project video on something some women may not be too comfortable talking about or admitting to viewing, porn. We as women tend to shy away from this subject by either saying we don't watch it at all or saying that it's disgusting and it demeans women. But although this argument can probably hold true, like the porn industry probably does have its dark sides, but this research project isn't about that. This is about the lighter side of porn. The side where it's possible for women to enjoy porn, have it empower them, and therefore raise their self-esteem and be comfortable with their own sexuality. My research will give rise to the questions of how porn can affect a woman's self-esteem, her attitudes towards herself after viewing porn, the importance of sexual exploration, and what it means to relationships, as well as an overall view of sex and what it means to a woman. But first, here's a situation to give you a little bit more of a realistic, typical thing that women may face in their day-to-day lives. Ooh, sex up your holidays. Looks like a good Cosmo edition. This looks like a lot of fun. Definitely want to try that with my boyfriend.
Mara, is that a Cosmo magazine you're reading?
Yeah, why?
Don't these have, like, weird sex things?
Yeah, I guess. Why, you would never do this?
Never, ever.
Yeah.
I've never even read one of these before.
Yeah, I know. I would. It's disgusting, right?
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
Yeah, put that away.
And the other problem. Hey, can I talk to you about something?
Sure.
Okay, so, like, you know how Eric and I have been seeing each other for a while? It's been going, like, really well, right?
Yeah.
So, I want to, like, try and explore a little bit more in the bedroom.
Okay. Have you talked to him about this?
Not really, because I don't want him to think, like, I'm a huge nympho. Like, I know he watches porn and stuff, but I don't want him to be like, oh my gosh, like, this girl's crazy and she's a huge freak.
I think you should just talk to him.
Yeah?
Yeah, like, I mean...
Is that a normal thing? Like, do girls openly talk about that?
I mean, why not? If guys can, then why can't we?
Yeah, this is true. I'm gonna try that.
Yay!
Meanwhile, at Eric's house...
Hey, what did you want to talk about?
Well, I don't know, man. Just have a couple problems lately, you know. Just the sex isn't as spicy as I'd like it to be in bed. I just want my girl to be more kinky, you know.
Okay, so
I don't know. I
why
just
don't you
feel.
just talk to her?
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I can't talk to her about it because I feel like I might embarrass her because she's kind of a prude.
How do you know that?
I know, just from previous experiences. She doesn't seem to be into it.
Just
like
talk to her. Girls love that shit. Like, honestly, just talk to her about it.
Oh, okay. Well, cool, man. Thanks for the advice.
Okay, so the reason why I wanted to show that little clip right there was to give a kind of a situation where women are uncomfortable with talking about sex and the things that they want to do, and how sometimes other people's views and the way we view norms and stuff can impact our self-esteem and on what we want to explore about our bodies with our partners. If you don't talk to your partner about these things, you'll never know what both of you like and how both of you can get along that way, because sex is a big part of a relationship. Not saying that it can make or break one, but it's a big deal for both people to get along. I think anyway, to get along in that way, because it's very personal, and if you want to give all of yourself to someone and are comfortable with them, then it's something that you're gonna have to deal with. Okay, so before I get into the specifics of everything and the studies and all the details, we're gonna talk about where does it come from? Who actually had this idea to film people in the act having sex? Well, one source I have found, it asks the question, do women really hate porn? It's an interview with Carlin Ross. He is an attorney and a sex educator from New York. She's the editor-in-chief of DodsonandRoss.com and the author of a book, How to Make a Girl Come. So Carlin answers the question, what is the origin of porn? And says that porn's always been with us. The earliest nude drawings were discovered in the Cheval Cave complex dating back to the Paleolithic period. They discovered engraved images of female reclining nudes and vulvas created by man in about 10,000 BC. I have some of those images to show you so you can see them. This one is a Paleolithic vulva. Yeah. This is what they think that the women's vulva looked like. This one is the reclining nude photo. Yay. This one here, it's from Cheval, France, specifically. It has a feline on one side and then a bull on the other. So these two animals combine to create the image of a vulva. I don't know how clear it is to see, but that was its intention. And the last one here, it's La Marche. It was also found in France. You can look at the two people. There's two figures right there and there. And so those are some of the first drawings, some of the most notable ones that I found that can give you an image of where porn came from the earliest people in the cave. Hanging out in the cave, just drawing nude people. As for video-based porn, this started in the 1920s with short films called Smokers that depicted both heterosexual and homosexual sex acts. Watching images of other people having sex is sexually arousing. In other words, porn is here to stay. So, what are the main concerns that women do have about porn? Women feel that porn is degrading. Like I said before, there's a dark side to porn. Feminists would argue that porn is a direct threat to the status of women in the culture. If we want to understand why some women hate porn, we need to understand the majority of porn depicts the male model of sexual response. Taken as a whole, the sex acts depicted are the sex acts that bring men to orgasm, not women. Only about 20% of women achieve orgasm from vaginal penetration alone. The majority of women need direct clitoral stimulation to achieve orgasm. So, we buy porn, we watch it, we get turned on, but when we copy what we're watching, we don't achieve orgasm. We don't experience the same heights of pleasure as these porn stars, and we internalize this failure. We believe that there's something wrong with us. Then add the body image issues created by watching idealized images of these women with surgically enhanced bodies and genitals, and now you feel even worse. For example, there's no hair down there. I have hair down there. Oh my goodness. Like, we get these images in our heads that this is what we're supposed to look like, and when we don't look like that, our self-esteem goes way down. We believe that we're generally deformed, we're broken, and we'll never have great sex. But why is this? Why do we think this way? So this is what my research question is going to set out to do. So let's get to it. So, in our sexualized, media-engulfed society, it is interesting to think that some people shy away from it, avoid it, and don't want to talk about it. What's it, you ask? Shh! Sex! Sex has become more than just a picture or video. It is now a major selling point in music, movies, and merchandise. The internet has widened this scope, where there's an explosion of pornographic websites in the last decade, with tens of millions of sites literally a click away. According to Frederick S. Lane, author of Obscene Profits, The Entrepreneurs of Pornography in the Cyber Age, Lane estimates the North American cyber porn industry brings in about $2 billion a year. We know what this means to men.
Yeah. Love this.
But what does this mean for women? Reading the article for this week's class, Talk Dirty to Me, I thought it interesting to see how women generally view themselves when it comes to sex. In such a sexualized society, some women still feel ashamed to be a part of it, either by not viewing porn and not wanting to enter an adult store when we see this every day in the media. It's kind of weird. This research will serve to ask why women feel this way. Why are we bashful of walking into an adult store? Why do we not feel comfortable admitting to watching porn or enjoying it? If men are so comfortable admitting this, where does the stigma for women come in? These questions will be addressed through the explanation of sexual exploration, feminist views, studies related to women's attitudes after viewing porn, and explaining how porn can actually positively affect a woman's perception of her sexuality overall. So to begin with the first explanation, we as mammals at our core are sexual beings. We can look to evidence from physiological perspective in which dopamine is behind a lot of the desire we associate with eating and sexual intercourse. It's at the core of our sexual drives and survival needs, and it motivates us to do just about everything. And lastly, dopamine drives you to have sex over most activities. Furthermore, we may not explicitly notice this when we're younger, but we begin this exploration of sexuality from an early age. Taking an early Freudian perspective, as explained in an article by MacLeod, psychosexual development includes 5 stages, starting with oral, to anal, phallic, latency, and ending with the genital stage. According to porn statistics, the average age of first internet exposure to pornography is as young as 11 years old. These 2 perspectives are relevant to the topic of sexual exploration because it shows that as babies and throughout the lifespan, men and women alike are born with a chemical, sexual drive and a curiosity for their bodies. So across this lifespan, where does the insecurities come from in women? Pulling another statistics from Porn Statistics, 70% of women keep their cyber activities a secret, and women actually favor chat rooms twice as much as men. Clearly, there's something about anonymity that comforts women. I recently went into the Love Shop here in Waterloo to get some local field research. Here's a summary of my questions and her answers. Do more men than women generally enter the store? According to her, the majority are men, although it is pretty equal probably when you get down to the numbers, but more importantly, men purchase or rent more porn videos than women. But women purchase more of the toys. Is there anything you and other employees do to make women more comfortable in the store? Apparently, most people are just generally shy when walking in, but for the women, I guess most of their staff are women, so if this made them more comfortable, also the comfort of talking to a stranger, sometimes people, she said, find that more comforting, less nerve-wracking. And lastly, why do you think women are shy about admitting to viewing porn or coming in at all to the store? She basically said that it's just about what appeals more to women. From her experience, men are concerned with the act they are viewing, and women are more concerned with who they are viewing. So we as women think more about what is happening and how it feels to be that woman in the video. Moving on, in the article mentioned before, Talk Dirty to Me, Sally Tisdale writes about her experience and feelings as a woman viewing pornography. To summarize, she explains the act as bashful, self-conscious, prickly with the feeling of being caught in the act. Propelled by the need for information about sexual parameters, she needed reassurance, a blessing. She felt like she needed permission to be in the store. In a male-dominant, sexually infused media, it is normal for women to think this way, as Sally hears that "bad girl, mustn't touch" voice in the back of her head. Speaking from a feminist stand, Lynn Segal writes, "Pornography became a metaphor for women's defeat." Feminists explain that pornography is wrong on the basis that it positions women as passive objects for men's sexual arousal. However, when does porn and the way a woman wants to sexually express herself become solely her choice and without ridicule of being promiscuous and accommodating men's desires? When does it just become their choice? It's what they want to do. It's what makes them happy. Next, Tisdale mentions that when it comes to porn, she wants to claim it for her own, and by exposing herself truly to herself, it is easy to expose herself to another. I think this is exactly how all women should view it as. They should claim and own their sexuality, not worry about what the media says or insecurities that the media may impose on them. I know, easier said than done. So what do we do about this? Some people have the quick fix tactic, where they say we should just born pan and rid of it altogether. But to rid of porn abolishes women's voice to adhere to their sexuality and aborts how they wish to express it. Sally Tisdale goes on to express that the message of pornography is that our sexual selves are real. It's this realization that we do exist sexually, and we should empower that. We should make that a good thing. So therefore, to rid of porn, it essentially sends the message that women are not sexual beings and have no right to express themselves. An article that I found that perfectly summarizes my thoughts on this topic explains that feminist porn eroticizes gender inequality and male sexual abuse of women and silences women. While this explains what the majority of people trying to rid of hypersexuality, sex addictions, and child abuse, there is more to it than this. The article goes on to refute this quick fix by explaining that not only does the suppressionist movement generate a conservative ideology, it also strengthens the political power of the right to censor sexual and progressive discourse and to pass measures aimed at controlling women's bodies and sexuality. By doing so, feminist porn suppressionists alienate natural allies, progressive artists, writers, musicians, and scholars, thereby making coalitions more difficult and weakening women's liberation efforts. From this, we can see the contradictions in the banning of porn would have, in that porn actually constructs the social reality of what a woman is and what a woman can be. Overall, putting down sex for women, it gives a pessimistic view of what sex is like for a woman. It takes away from a potential empowerment that women could possess about her body and sexuality alike. So, how do women actually think about themselves after viewing porn? Let's look to a study that tries to explain this. I've explained the theoretical and societal aspects of the effects on women viewing porn, so now I'll explain a study that shows this. The study, Psychosexual Correlates of Viewing Sexually Explicit Sex on Television Among Women in the Netherlands, focuses on frequency, motives, and reactions in relation to viewing sexually explicit sex on TV. Overall, there seems to be a lot of positive results from the literature mentioned in the study. For example, some studies have associated viewing of sexually oriented TV programs to more liberal sexual attitudes, and lab studies of the effects of exposure to sexually explicit material have also shown subjects to become less sexually anxious and have more favorable attitudes towards sexuality and sexually explicit material after exposure. Furthermore, the main differences were in personality types. To summarize, sexually secure women, so those with positive sexual experiences, high sexual self-esteem, and low sexual depression and anxiety, these women seem to be relatively likely to seek leisure in SETV and to show relatively strong sex life affirmative reactions, and may thereby yet again become more sexually secure. On the other hand, highly insecure women, generally having low body and self-esteem, high frequency of dieting, high on sexual symptoms, these are seeking information and sensation in SETV, they seem to get their egos hurt relatively often and may thus once more have their self-esteem trampled on. And sexually anxious women seeking sensation seem to get highly uncomfortable with watching sexually explicit TV and may thus once more have their anxiousness reinforced. Another study found similar results. Specifically, the positive association between pornography exposure and women's recent sexual behavior was strongest for the most liberal women and weakest for the most conservative women. From this, we can gather that what may be the problem lies in self-esteem and security with oneself. Makes sense, right? Therefore, to make women more sexually comfortable in viewing and enjoying porn, therefore enjoying sex, in their entire lives, we should look to ways of empowering them and searching for ways to increase their self-perceptions. So, from looking at sexual exploration, feminist views, and refutations to their arguments, as well as experiments in the field, we can clearly see a positive side to women viewing porn. Through our physiological makeup and the various perceptions on how porn affects women, the answers to making even more women comfortable with sex and raising self-esteem. In my opinion, we as a society, we're making an effort to do so. Recently, I've seen a lot more focus on women looking healthy, not skinny, and an emphasis on taking care of ourselves mentally and physically. We are finally taking a stand on the media's distorted images of women and their ideas of what we should look like, and celebrating our individuality and uniqueness. The last article mentioned something that stuck with me about the implications we should consider when talking about women's views on pornography. It explains we should be more interested in what the production, consumption, and distribution of porn might mean to different stakeholders and how these meanings came into being and changed over time. In conclusion, what this says to me is that when it comes to the porn, the importance that it means to humans as sexual beings and the interpretations people contribute to the porn they are viewing is what matters the most. Women have a right to view porn and have it empower them just as much as men do. So that is my research project on why porn can be a positive thing for women. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the bloopers that are about to come. Thank you for watching. Yay! From this, we can see the contradiction that the banning of porn would have. The banning of porn. Banning of porn. Psychosexual correlates of viewing sexuality, explicit sex, viewing of sexually oriented TV programs,
I'm sorry. I'm so.
study psychoneme. It's harder than it looks, people.
You didn't ask me how I'm feeling.
I was going to, but you said yeah.
What? Pinky Smalls in the back.
Piggy Smalls is in the back.
Oh, okay.
It's going well, but I got
I'm sorry. I knew.
I am literally having more fun making bloopers than doing this actual thing. So let's take a look at a study that tried to see what the effects of women on porn were. The effects of other way around there.
Oh, it's going? Oh.
Don't you start it? Like,
Yeah,
I didn't know what you were gonna say.
Why? So let's take a look at a study who. Ugh. Why am I clapping at the beginning of every single thing? It's like, take one. Take two. Views about their leisurely sex. I totally messed up that. I don't know why this is so difficult. From looking at sexual exploration, feminist views, and refutes to their arguments. Just gonna stop it. Is refutations even a word? Hey, it's done! It's done. Thank you for watching my video. Thank you.